watching Good Morning Charleston with John Bruce, Tessa Spencer, Emily Gracie, Megan Rivers, and Trooper Bob. This is Good Morning Charleston.
It is 6 a.m. now. We begin this hour with breaking news. Right now, crews are responding to a fire off of Highway 78 between Ladson Road and I-26. That area currently closed because the fire department has a hose stretched across the highway there. And here's a live look at the scene where officials are advising you use College Park Road to get around that area. Trooper Bob is live there on scene and will tell us what he knows in just a few minutes. Right now, we're counting down to a highly anticipated State of the Union. The president will deliver the speech tonight in prime time. Coming up, the key points President Trump is expected to focus on and the guests that'll be watching in the audience. The president expected to call for optimism and unity in tonight's State of the Union. The big question from skeptics, though, is that sort of reset really possible? Mona Kosar-Abdi is live for us in Washington right now, looking ahead to tonight's address. Mona, good morning.
Good morning, Tessa. The White House says the president will focus on 5 key issues, including trade, immigration, and national security. However, the president has also teased possibly dropping a bombshell.
On the greatest political stage in front of both chambers of Congress, President Trump will deliver his second State of the Union address. The first before the newly Democratic-run House, Speaker Pelosi sitting directly behind him.
I've probably done more in the first 2 years than any president, any administration in the history of our country.
On the heels of the longest government shutdown in U.S. history, the White House says President Trump will strike a conciliatory tone and call for unity in an attempt to mend the partisan divide.
It's going to be a speech that's going to cover a lot of territory, but part of it's going to be unity.
But in the past few days, the president has set a different tone, publicly considering to use the speech to declare a national emergency over his divisive border wall.
I don't want to say, but you'll hear the State of the Union, and then you'll see what happens right after the State of the Union, okay?
A move even opposed by some members of his own party. The guest list also includes a snapshot of the key political messages the president will highlight. It includes a family whose loved one was killed by an undocumented immigrant, survivors of the Tree of Life synagogue, and a benefactor of Trump's tax bill. Democrats have chosen former Georgia gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams to deliver the rebuttal. Abrams will be the first African-American woman to do so.
And Democrats also intend to use their plus ones to deliver a message. Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez says she'll bring the woman who made headlines protesting Justice Kavanaugh. Also in attendance will be undocumented workers who have worked on Trump properties. Tessa?
All right, Mona, one question for you. It's also the looming potential of another partial government shutdown. And the border wall, of course, funding remains up in the air. So where does that debate stand right now?
That's right, Tessa. That February 15th deadline is fast approaching, and border talks are essentially at a standstill. The president says if though that 17-member committee made up of congressional negotiators are not coming up with a deal that includes funding for his border wall, then it is no deal at all. They're just wasting their time. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says that the president's wall is not even up for discussion. So President Trump has publicly said that he is considering declaring a national emergency, which will allow him to divert funds and build his wall that way. When reporters asked him about that late last week, he said, stay tuned for the State of the Union. So it'll be interesting, Tessa, to see tonight if he will declare that national emergency. Working for you, Mona Kosar-Abdi, ABC News 4.
All right, we are in for some nice weather here over the next several days. However, it's getting a little bit cool this morning. Some spots have dropped down into the 40s. Now we've seen places like Mount Pleasant in the mid-40s, Goose Creek 47, 48 right now in Moncks Corner. It's 50 on Johns Island and in Beaufort. It's a little bit milder there. We're all going to warm up this afternoon, but we're getting a cool start right now in some locations. A nice dry day today. You can see nothing on the radar. In fact, clear skies are helping those temperatures drop just a couple more degrees before that sun comes up here this morning. There is some rain back to our west, but it's not going to reach us. We are in for a nice dry day today. You may need that extra layer at the bus stop this morning with temperatures in the mid to upper 40s, but by this afternoon, we are headed for 70s, and you will not need that jacket anymore. I'll let you know which afternoon you're going to need that jacket when those temperatures fall again. That's coming up in just a few minutes.
This ABC News 4 Traffic Tracker Report is sponsored by Fred Anderson Toyota of Charleston.
We have one new wreck to let you know about. The crash with no injuries along University Boulevard at Fernwood Drive, slowing things down in that area, but again, no injuries being reported from that scene. The drive times right now from Johns Island over to the crosstown aren't looking too terribly bad. An 18-minute drive if you're traveling from Main Road over to Savannah Highway over to the crosstown. That's a 20-minute drive. An 18-minute drive from Main Road to River Road over to Maybank Highway to Folly Road to the crosstown. And then a 22-minute drive from Main Road to Bees Ferry, Glen-McConnell Parkway, Ashley River Road, and then back over to Highway 17. So the drive times aren't looking too terribly bad. We're going to send things out to Trooper Bob, who's been at that fire scene all morning. And Bob, there's a few detours in place because the road is blocked in that area. Can you tell folks how to get around that fire?
Sure, let me show you a live look at the fire. I'm right here in front of the hose where it's connected to the hydrant. So if you're coming down Latson Road or from Somerville, you're going to have to take Latson Road onto College Park Road to I-26. You're not going to be able to come to this area. And let me back up and show you why. Well, because Highway 78 is blocked. That's the farthest light you see over there. That's the fire department and the police department blocking 78. On the other side, if you're coming up from Trident Hospital, that way you'll be able to get on I-26 if you're coming westbound, and also Ingleside Boulevard, but not in this area. And the big picture is this going to be closed until the fire department moves this hose or they put the fire out. But they're trying to get this road open as soon as they can. Back to you guys.
Well, chances are you heard the promise last year. Dominion Energy said it would pay SCE&G customers $1,000 as part of a planned merger. That merger with SCE&G's parent company went through, but that $1,000 payout wasn't part of the deal. Now, a Low-Country lawmaker wants Dominion to make good. Alexandria Savage live in North Charleston, looking ahead to a key meeting that's happening today.
Good morning, Tessa. Members of the state's Legislative Black Caucus and Representative William Gilliard are meeting in Columbia today. They're going to talk with Dominion Energy's Senior Vice President as well as their General Counsel. Representative Gilliard says hundreds of thousands of utility customers should get the $1,000 they were promised. Dominion says that was part of an initial proposal. They ended up going with a larger 15% rate instead. That the cash payouts were eliminated when the merger was approved. Dominion says the new plan provides equal value to customers over time. Gilliard believes December wasn't the right time to make such a significant change. He's questioning Dominion's motives.
Far too many times in government, we find people, they don't like to challenge these giants that comes to South Carolina. And that's where the ratepayers are fed up. And what the ratepayers are saying, if you promise up to $1,000, then pay it.
Representative Gilliard says he hopes today's meeting will motivate Dominion to get taxpayers what they were initially promised. Gilliard and several other members of the council are saying that they want to meet, and hopefully it'll become a good thing today and that they'll reach a resolution. It calls the House resolution that they have currently on the table is it calls for the customers to get the $1,000 checks they were promised. Working for you in North Charleston, Alexandria Savage, ABC News 4.
Thank you, Alexandria. And all this started, of course, because customers spent years paying for a planned nuclear facility, which eventually failed. And we've reached out to Dominion. They say electric bills have been reduced by about 15% in 2019. That's compared to January of last year. Now, leaders also say utility bills are lower than the short-term rates implemented by the General Assembly. 6:08 now. North Charleston police working to learn more after they say a man was killed in his apartment. Police say that incident happened along Tulip Street on Monday afternoon. They say that man was found dead after being hit by a bullet that came through his apartment window. Police have not released the name of the victim. New this morning, Charleston police say the crime rate in West Ashley has dropped by more than 8%. Officers made the announcement at West Ashley High School Monday.
The City of Charleston Police Department is awesome, and that I'm not really worried about that. I'm more worried about this particular incident that has, I've seen it on Facebook with other people, and I wanted to make sure that it's being taken care of because it's a scary thing.
Police did say narcotics arrests have increased by 25%. Still, many people at that meeting told us they're satisfied at how police are handling crime. There's a significance. Your significant other could be cheating on you, but not with another person. Relax. One thing you might not know about in the age group most likely to be hiding something.
Temperatures are cool here this morning. Layer up as we head in towards the afternoon. Warmer temperatures on the way. I'll let you know how warm it gets today. Let you know when we are in for a big cool down. That's coming up.
Live look at 526 east and westbound. Coming up after the break, we'll tell you about those drive times as folks are coming out of West Ashley and heading towards North Charleston and Mount Pleasant. And we'll also be talking about those railroads that are closed that could affect your morning commute. That's next.
Bud Light, you're not standing with corn farmers. We're not standing with you.
Bud Light Super Bowl commercial isn't getting the reaction the company expected. The group of people turned off by the ad and the company's attempt to fix it.